let's say that you've been asked to create a proof of concept showing how Azure users and groups are created. Also, how role-based access control is used to assign roles to groups. That is exactly what I'll be doing in this lab. In this lab, I will complete the following exercises. Exercise 1, I'm going to create senior admin groups with the user account Joseph Price as its member, and I will perform this in Azure Portal. In exercise 2, I'm going to create another group known as junior admin groups with the user account Isabel Garcia as its member, and I'll be using PowerShell to do that. In exercise 3, I'm going to create service desk group with the user Dalian Williams as its member, and I'm going to use Azure CLI to do that. While in task 4, I will assign the virtual machine contributor role to the service desk group. So, like I said earlier, in exercise 1, I'm going to create senior admin groups with user account Joseph Price as its member. In order to accomplish this exercise, I will perform two tasks. The first task is that I'm going to use the Azure portal to create user, that is Joseph Price. And in task 2, I'm going to use the same Azure portal to create a senior admin group, then add the Joseph Price, that's the user I created earlier in task 1, to the group as a member of the group as well as the owner of the group. So, in order to do this, I'll go to the search box and I'll look for enter ID. Now, here is the enter ID, and as you can see from the manager, you can see the users, groups, and other services that you can actually make use of in the enter ID. Now, do you also take note of the primary domain, delanibsolutions.onmicrosoft.com? I'm going to look for a way to copy this domain. Now, I'm going to copy this domain and put it in a notepad because I'll make use of this domain later. Now, I'll go to the user because I want to create the first user, and that is Joseph Price. So I'll click here and I'll click create new user. So in the user principal name, it's going to be Joseph, and the display name will be Joseph Price. And for the password, I'm going to leave it this way. But let me click this. This will allow you to see the password as you can see right now. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to copy this into the clipboard. The reason is this. Probably I might need it later as part of the configuration. So I'm going to do just that by pasting the user ID into the notepad as well as the password. Now, I'll go ahead now and click review plus create, then I'll click create. Now, I need to refresh here so that I can show the last user that I just created. Now, the next thing that I will do now is to move to the task 2 in the same exercise 1. where I will use the Azure portal to create a senior admin groups and add the user account of the Joseph Price to the group. To do that, I will go to groups, and in the groups, I can come to all groups. This is where I will see the list of all the groups that are available. Now I can click new group. The first thing that I will need to select is the group type. In the drop down, I have only security and Microsoft 365 as the group type. Now, how do you know which one to select? Now, if you come to the information here, let's examine what the information says. It says that security groups are used to give group members access to applications, resources, and assign licenses. Group members can be users, devices, service principals, and other groups. For Microsoft 365 groups, it said that they are used for collaboration, giving members access to a shared mailbox, calendar, files, SharePoint sites, and so on. Group members can only be users. It simply means that security group is meant for Microsoft 365 services. As you can see here, it says that it's for to access what? Application, resources, and so on. So, but Microsoft 365 group is only meant for Microsoft 365 services like mailbox, calendars, files, SharePoint site, and so on. So, we are going to leave it this way as security. Then for the group name, it will be senior admins. And for the description is optional. Then on the membership type, I will leave it as assigned. Then I'll go to owners. No owner selected. I'll click that link, and I will come and select owners from the list here. So who is going to be the owner? Joseph Price. So I will select it. I'll go to members. Who is going to be a member? That's the only user we have right now. That is Joseph Price. I will check the user and I will select that button. Then I'll click create so that it can create the group. Now, if I refresh here, I should be able to see that group, senior admins. Now, in the senior admin group, if you go to the properties, you will see information like, for example, if I click the owner here, in the owners, I'll be able to see list of users that are owners of this group. For now, it is only Joseph Price. If I go to members, you will also discover that Joseph Price is the only member of this group. Let's move to exercise 2, where I'm going to do almost the same thing. This time around, I'm going to create a group known as junior admins, and it's going to contain Isabel Garcia as its member. So there are two tasks that I will perform here. In task 1, I'm going to use a PowerShell to create a user known as Isabel Garcia. And in task 2, I'm going to use the same PowerShell to create a group known as Junior Admin Group, and I will now add Isabel Garcia as a member of that group. So what I need to do now is to click on the Cloud Shell. So I'm going to click PowerShell here. Then I need to mount this to a storage account. So I will select the subscription, then click apply. Then I will select this. I want to create a new storage account. Then the subscription is going to be this way, and it's also require a source group. For this one, I would name it RG1 and for the region is going to be East US, and for the storage account I will leave it this way, that is 1759 storage account, and for the file share is going to be fs-cloud shell. Then I will click create. So right now deployment is in progress. Now the PowerShell is ready. So the first thing that I will do is to run a query that will create a password profile object. This is required in order for me to be able to attach a password to a user that I want to create using the PowerShell. So I will use a variable called password profile. Now, anywhere you see dollar in front of any word or two words or joint words, it simply shows that that is a variable. And what is a variable? Something that holds value on a temporary basis. So I will say equal to, then new hyphen object, new object, the type name is equal to Microsoft dot open dot azure ad dot model dot password profile. Now press enter. Next is to append the real password now to this same variable. So I will say password profile dot password equals to PA55W.RD1234. Then I will press enter. So we have a variable known as password profile with PA55W.RD1234 as the password or as the value. Now I need to connect to my Microsoft Entra ID. So I will say connect Azure AD. Then I will press enter. This will connect this PowerShell to the Azure AD. Azure AD is a service. So this script will connect this PowerShell to the Azure AD. Now, do I use Azure AD? Because that is the former name we use for the Microsoft Entra ID. It's not that long that Microsoft changed it from Azure AD to Microsoft Entra ID. So there are some change of name that they've not really perfected. So one of them is this Connect Azure AD. So this is what we still have till now. So the next thing I will do now is to create the new user. I will say new hyphen azure. That's a Azure AAD user. Then the display name The display name is going to be Isabel Garcia. That is going to be the display name of this user. Then another property that is important is the password. So the password profile is what I will call here. And if you remember, we already have a variable that is this variable. So I'm going to call the variable here, or let me say I'm referencing the variable now, password profile. Next is the user principal name. The user principal name is going to be Isabel at. Now, do you remember that I have the domain name copied somewhere here? So I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it here. So that's it. Isabel at delanybsolutions.onmicrosoft.com. Next is to enable the account. Now, this particular one is optional. If I do not want to enable the account, I can just create this account like that. It simply means that I'll still need to find a way to enable the account for the user. Otherwise, the user will not be able to, use the account for anything, because by default, if I do not reference this, it will disable the account. So it is called account enabled. Then I will say true. Simply means that I want to enable the account. Another thing that I will reference here as a parameter is the mail nickname. The mail nickname now is going to be Isabel. Isabel. I'll press enter now. Yes, Isabel at delanybsolutions.allmicrosoft.com. So it has created the user. Let me type this command. Azure get hyphen Azure AD user hyphen all. It's called to true. So what it simply means is that it's going to return all the there's a small typo error here. So yes, so it's going to return all the users that are in the Entra ID. If you remember earlier in this lab, I created this user, Joseph Price. Now, this is the second user now. So this script allows me to see the list of all the users, including the 2 users that are already there. I'll move to the task 2 in exercise 2 now, where I'm going to use the same PowerShell to create the junior admin groups and add the user account of Isabel Garcia to the group. To create a group using PowerShell, I'll say new hyphen Azure AD group. Then you say display name. Is going to be junior admins. Then I will specify this parameter mail enabled. This is to determine if the group is going to have an email. And by saying $false, it simply means that you should not enable mail for the group. Next is to determine the group type. If you remember, there are two types of group: security and Microsoft 365. So this is how I will accomplish that. I will say security enabled, security enabled, true. This simply means that this group is a security group. Then the next parameter is the mail nickname. The mail nickname is junior admins. Then I press enter. Set the term Azure AD group. Oh, that's a typographical error there. That's a typographical error there. So I'm going to remove the Y. I'll press enter again. Yes, here's the group, junior admins. Now, to confirm that the group is actually there, I can use this script, get azure AD group. And here's the group that I just created now, junior admins. Here's the one that I created earlier in this lab, senior admins. This simply shows that the script is correct. So the next thing that I will do now is that I'm going to run a query to reference Isabel Garcia account, because I'm going to join that Isabel account now to a group. So I need to reference the ID of Isabel, and that's what I'm going to do in this next script. In order to achieve that, I'm going to pass that one into a variable known as user. That will be $user equals to get hyphen azure AD user. Then I will now filter it. Filtering simply means that since there are many users there, I need to pick a particular user that I want. So in the filter now, I will now use the user principal name to identify the user that I actually want. So that is a user principal name is equal to Isabel at I'm going to paste the domain again. Yes. So um so this is how to reference the ID of the user Isabel, and I'll pass that ID now into this variable, that is variable user. Next is to now use that ID of the Isabel that I have already referenced here, to now use it to now join the user to the group. And that's what I'm going to do with this next query. Add hyphen AZ-AD group member. Member, member user principal name is going to be $user dot user principal name. Next is to now specify the group, that is target group display name. And what is the display name of the group? That is the junior admins. Then I'll press enter. Let me now verify if truly that user is a member of junior admins. So I will use get hyphen AZ-AD group member hyphen group group display name. Stop graphical error already. Display name. What display name? That will be junior admins. Then I'll press enter. Look at it. Isabel at delaney.bsolutions.allmicrosoft.com. That shows that this user is a member of which group? The group is junior admins. We can as well confirm from here. If I come to the all groups and I refresh here, it will show me the list of all the groups. This is the group I just created, junior admins. Then I'll go to the members. Here is it, Isabel Garcia. I'll now move to exercise 3, where I'm going to do the same thing. This time around, I'll be using CLI to create users and group. So I'm going to create a group known as service desk. I'm going to create a user known as Dalian Williams. Dalian Williams will now be a member of service desk group. So to do that, I will switch to batch, then I will confirm. So what I will do first is to say AZ AD user create, then the display name, display hyphen name, so what is the name of the user? The display name of the new user is DYLAN, Darlene Williams. Darlene Williams. And I also need to specify the password. The password is going to be PA55W.Audi1234. Then user principal name. Then at, then I'll paste, that same domain that I copy into, that notepad. So this is to show that it has created the user Darlene at delanybsolutions.onmicrosoft.com. To properly confirm, I can type this script in this CLI AZ-AD user list, then output table, output, then into table. So it's going to give me the list. That's it. That's list of all the users. And you can see Darlene in the list. That's Daniel Williams. I will now move to the task 2 of exercise 3, where I will now use the CLI to create service desk group and add user account of Dylan to the group. So still in the same CLI, I will say AZ-AD group create, and display name, so what will be the display name? Display name is service desk. Service desk, that's display name. Then mail nickname is another thing I can reference here. What is the mail nickname? That is going to be service desk. Then I'll press enter. The group is there, the group is ready. Let's go and verify. This is it, service desk. That is the group name. Again, to properly confirm, in case you cannot find it as you are trying to check through the output there. You can use this command to do that. AZ group, then list it, then you say -0 into table. That -0 is also output. Then I'll press enter. This is the groups. This is junior admins, this is the senior admins, and this is the one I just created, service desk. Next is to now connect the user Darlene Williams to the service desk group, and I'm going to perform this through the CLI. So what I would do is to reference that user, just exactly the same thing I did um, when I was doing that in PowerShell, in the last exercise. So this time around, I'm going to reference the ID of Jalen Williams, and I will pass it into a variable known as user. So AZ user list. Now filter it. To filter it, you're not going to use, you're going to use display name. Display name to be equal to, that's EQ. So the display name of that user is what? Darian Williams. Then I'll press enter. And what do I have? Okay, error, unrecognized argument, filter, display name, Darian Williams. There is a problem. There is a small problem. Let me find out what the problem could be. Let's look at the script again. I need to, this is supposed to be a parameter. That's why, yeah, the filter. So I need to put dash dash there. This is one of the reasons why I don't really like CLI, because if it were to be PowerShell now, I would have noted that error earlier because of the way we color those functions, variables, and everything. So I will have noticed that the parameter is not properly, identified in the scripts, but it's okay. Let's go ahead and I'll press enter. Now it shows now that I now have the Williams information, and it's being passed into this variable user. So what I will now do, so what I will do now is that I will now use this display name now to get the object ID. So in order to do that, I will now say object ID is still going to be a variable equals to dollar. Then will now say echo user, then JQ. Yes, so I'll press enter. So I will use the display name of Dalian Williams to now get the object ID. They can now proceed to where I will now add that user to the group. And that is what's going to happen in this next script. AZ AD group member add group service desk member ID object ID. Next now is to now confirm if truly Darlene Williams is a member of service desk. I'll say ZAD group member list. I'll specify the parameter to do that, and that's going to be the group. And what is the group name? Service desk. Here is it. Dalian is a member. It's simply showing here. And this is Dalian Williams is a member of the service desk. Now I can come to this place to look for service desk. So let me refresh here. Here is the service desk. So instead of using this script, here's another way you can do it. So you can use the script to create the user or the group, or to join the user to the group. I can use the GUI to verify, so you can come to the members and I should be able to see Darlene Williams. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. Now I'll move to exercise 4, where I will assign the virtual machine contributor role to the service desk group. So in the exercise, I'm going to complete the following two tasks. Task 1 is that I'm going to create a resource group. Then in task 2, I'm going to assign the service desk virtual machine contributor permission to the resource group. So what I will need to do now is to search for resource group, and I'm going to create a new resource group, and the resource group name is going to be AZ-500 lab 01, while the region is going to be East US. So I'll click review plus create, then I'll click the create button. Now it says that resource group created. So where's the resource group? I'll still need to refresh again. Here is the resource group, is a 500 lab 01. I will now move to task 2. In task 2, I will now assign the service desk virtual machine contributor permission. To do that, I'm going to click on the group. That's the group I just created. And I'll go to the access control I am. This is it. In the access control I'm going to click add, and I want to add role assignments. On the add role assignment blade, I'm going to search for the role. The role I'm looking for is virtual machine contributor. So these are different rules that you can actually, give to, that you can actually, assign a user to, that will determine what and what they can do when they are working on a particular service. For example, this contributor role, virtual machine contributor, it says that it lets you manage virtual machine but not access to them, and not the virtual network or storage account they are connected to. So it's just to manage, you cannot gain access into that virtual machine as a contributor. So I will select that and I will click next. Then I'm going to assign a member. So I'll click on the select member. So I'm going to search for service desk. That's the last group that I created. So here is it. I will click on it and I'll click select. So the service desk group is now a member of the role. And what is the name of the role again? Virtual machine contributor. What is the implication of this? The implication is that the user, that is Dalian Williams, will now become a member of virtual machine contributor role. That is going to now have virtual machine contributor role. Dalian Williams is a member of the service desk. I will now click review plus create again, and is now adding the role assignment. So what I will do now is I will move to the role assignment. Remember, I just assigned a role. What is the role? Virtual machine contributor role. And who is a member of that role, or who is going to inherit that role? Group known as service desk. But we have a user that is a member of that service desk, and that is Dalian Williams. So I want to really confirm, if truly Darlene Williams inherited this virtual machine contributor. So what I will do is that I will go back to the check access and I will click this check access. Now, it said I can review the level of access the user, group, or service principal manage identity has to these resources. So I'm going to find user, group, or service principal. So I'm going to look for dialer. And here's dialer. So I'm going to click dialer. And the first thing is current rule assignment tab. I do not have any rule. This user do not have any role assigned. Let's look at eligible assignments. You're going to see virtual machine contributor. So is eligible. Is assigned this role, virtual machine contributor. Let's confirm another user, Joseph. Remember, we do not assign anything to Joseph. Let's see. Joseph, Joseph Price. Let's click on it. Do you see anything here? No. Let's go to the eligible assignments. You can see no eligible assignment to display because we do not assign such to Joseph Price. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please, let me know what you think in the comment section. And do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.